And tell me a little bit about the EDC.
EDC is a nonprofit research and development organization. We're based out of Waltham, Massachusetts, but we have offices here in New York City, in Chicago, and several other offices. We are the Center for Children and Technology, a center at EDC, and we do work a lot around technology and education, but also a lot of work in early childhood education, a lot of work around media and education.
Talk to me a little bit about CyberChase. For people who are not familiar.
CyberChase Mobile Adventures is a new program created by New York Public Television station WNET, which encourages families to engage in STEM learning in and around their home. Families receive text messages each week with activities and related videos. The videos are from CyberChase, the animated math series for kids. The videos introduce the concepts, and then families can playfully explore those concepts through these activities, such as observing a local environment, monitoring water usage, and finding creative ways to reduce their waste.
Can you explain a little bit more about the app and the program and what you are looking for parents to do?
Well, so it's not an app. So what families get is each week they get a text message on their phone, and that text message has links to videos and activities. And those go on for 6 weeks as the current program.
Tell me how many participants you had and how frequently they got the texts and how you were able to study what they were doing.
EDC conducted a study with 95 families in urban and suburban areas of Texas, Florida, and New York. Each family signed up to participate for 6 weeks. Not everybody completed the 6 weeks, but they received the text messages for 6 weeks, and those were a message with an activity and a video each week, and then a reminder to share what they did from the activities.
What kind of activities were being shared, and what kind of text messages and reminders were they getting?
The activities they were receiving were a range of science and environmentally related activities. Activities like observing local habitats around their neighborhoods, monitoring their water usage, or finding creative ways to reduce their waste.
Can you give me some specific examples of things that families could do that they were getting reminded?
Some of the creative ways to reduce waste were reusing items, or there's an activity where they create a hat using items that they would have otherwise thrown in the trash. So families were encouraged to share those activities. So take pictures of the hats that they created, or sails that they created for little wind-powered boats, and send those into CyberChase or post them on a Facebook group.
Now, how often did they get the text?
They got 2 text messages every week. The first text message came in on Friday, and they got the activity and the video in that text message. And then they got a reminder to share the results of their activity on Sundays.
So after the 6 weeks, how did you and your colleagues evaluate what was learned and what was accomplished at home?
We collected data in 3 primary ways: pre and post surveys, back-end data from the texting program, and interviews with the parents. And the pre and post surveys allowed us to gauge change in families' attitudes and actions related to taking care of the environment, STEM topics, and educational activities. The back-end data allowed us to gauge overall participation rates, particularly how often families were clicking on the links to activities and videos. And the interviews gave us a sense of what it was like to participate in the program.
What did you find when you looked at all of the data?
We found several ways that the program was effective. First, families who participated in the 6-week program left with greater knowledge of how to take care of the environment. For example, they were more likely to say that they knew which items could be recycled.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the concrete things they learned?
Concrete things that they learned in taking care of the environment was how to reduce their waste. They also learned concepts about the environment, so they learned about wind. They learned about water usage. They learned about local habitats and environments for animals in their habitats.
What did you and your colleagues find? Is this an approach that's effective for families for learning?
Families who participated in the study, receiving the messages or receiving the activities via text message was great for them. They found it really convenient. As one parent said, that they have their phones attached to their hips, and so they always knew where to find the activities. They didn't have to keep track of any paper or anything like that. And then each message that they received on their phone was like a reminder that they had this activity waiting for them to do with their kids.
Can you describe one or two of the activities that seem to resonate the most with families?
Families really enjoyed the recycled hats activity. So that was an activity that asked them to take items that they would have normally thrown away and repurpose them to make fashion hats or things like that. And it was a great way for families to tap into kind of their creative impulses while thinking about creative ways to reduce their waste.
Why did you and your colleagues feel that this was important for families to start in terms of a STEM education?
The program really focused more on environmental related activities and environmental concepts. And actually families really found that environmental focus important and useful. It was something that they were able to act upon real easily. So you can go from not recycling to recycling in a day. And so it really felt like doing these activities, you could show results and you could be involved in solving a problem. It's also a conversation that's going on around families. Children talk about it in school, and so when they explore these topics at home, they're able to go to school and kind of have something more to contribute to those conversations.
What was the age range of the kids involved in the program?
The age range of the kids was 5 to 9 years old.
Is there anything I didn't ask you about either the research or about the program that you would like people to know?
What we learned from this study reinforced what we learned in other studies like this, that parents across the board, regardless of income level, race, ethnicity, they want to do right by their children. They want to be involved in helping their children grow intellectually, morally, and emotionally, and they want to have fun with their kids at the same time. That said, families often don't know what to do with their kids to do that, and so that's why helping them find these activities that are fun to do, easy to complete, can be really powerful.